Hello, everybody. My name is Justin. I'm a member of Crossroads Community Church. Hey, I bet you love the Psalms, and so do I. The Psalms, they have tugged at the heartstrings of humanity for thousands of years, and they're a great place to do your quiet time in. So today, we're going to go over 3 different concepts that will help you dive into the Psalms deeper as you do your quiet times. Let's get into it. The first concept that we're going to dive into is genre. Now, I'm sure you've heard the word genre from English class, and that's exactly what I'm referring to. This is important because the genre of Psalms affects the interpretation of the verses in the Psalms. Let me use an example to illustrate. Within Psalms, there's a genre of Psalms called imprecatory Psalms. Now, imprecatory Psalms is basically when the psalmist, from a place of deep pain and anguish, wishes harm upon another person because this person has wronged the psalmist. The reason why understanding the genre of imprecatory Psalms is important is because imprecatory Psalms is the psalmist burying his or her heart before God. It is an honest expression of anguish, of deep pain. You are not meant to follow the verses literally. You should read the genre of imprecatory Psalms as, hey, the psalmist is giving an honest expression of anguish and pain to God, and I should view it that way. The second concept that we're going to go over today is called Sitz im Leben. Now, Sitz im Leben is not an English phrase. It's actually a German phrase, and it translates roughly to situation in life. So the assumption behind Sitz im Leben is that the Psalms were at one point used in Israel's daily life. An example to use is that Pomp and Circumstance, the song, is generally played during graduations. You would not want to play Pomp and Circumstance during a funeral. Now, why is Sitz im Leben so important? This concept reminds us that at one point, the Psalms were sung by Israel in their daily lives. This means that we too can join with Israel in singing the Psalms as we go about our business. The third and final concept that we're going to go over today is parallelism. Parallelism is the idea in biblical poetry that lines are balanced against one another in a very structured relationship. Thankfully, by God's grace, parallelism carries over quite well from the original Hebrew text into our English translations. There are 3 types of parallelism. The first type is called synonymous. This is when the idea in the first line is repeated again in the second line, but slightly differently. For example, Psalm 19:1, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies are the works of his hands." The first idea, "the heavens declare the glory of God," is repeated again, but slightly differently in the second line, "The skies are the works of his hands." The second type of parallelism is called antithetic. Antithetic is when 2 ideas are set in opposition against one another. For example, Psalm 1:6, "For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction." You can see how Psalm 1:6 sets those 2 ideas in opposition to one another. The third type of parallelism is called synthetic parallelism. This is when the second line completes or expands upon the idea presented in the first line. So for example, Psalm 23:1, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The first idea is that the Lord is my shepherd, but the second idea completes the first idea. You can almost say, "The Lord is my shepherd, therefore I shall not want." So, to wrap up, the 3 concepts to keep in mind as you study the Psalms are genre, Sitz im Leben, and parallelism. Keeping these concepts in mind will most certainly help you as you study the Psalms. Thank you guys so much for watching. We've got more content to help you read your Bible coming your way. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, or you can come in person. Feel free to visit our website at www.crossroadsmv.com. I'll catch you guys later.